Single dad finds a dying female cop behind a nightclub. That headline could have been tomorrow's news. But for Tyler, it was happening right now. The rain came down in sheets, cold and relentless, as he stepped out the back door of the nightclub's greasy kitchen. His shift had ended hours late. His hands smelled of dish soap and metal. His mind heavy with worrying about rent and his little girl asleep at home. Then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong. A faint, broken gasp cutting through the thump of bass and the hiss of rain. He froze. The alley beside the club was drowned in shadows, the air thick with the smell of cigarettes and spilled beer. Another sound, a moan, weak, desperate. Tyler moved closer, heart hammering, and then he saw her, a police officer, slumped against a dumpster, uniform soaked in blood and rain. Her eyes fluttered open, pleading, as she tried to lift a trembling hand, clutching something small and metallic. He dropped to his knees beside her, terror and disbelief locking his breath. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed, too far, too late. If you believe one person can change everything, keep watching. Tyler was the kind of man people passed without noticing. At 38, he lived a life held together with duct tape and quiet prayers, juggling to part-time jobs just to keep a modest roof over his daughter's head. Ever since his wife died giving birth to little Sophie, he'd been stuck in survival mode, one foot in front of the other, dreams tucked away in a box he no longer dared to open. He'd once studied engineering, loved design, but grief pulled him from school, and fatherhood anchored him to reality. The bills didn't care about dreams. He worked the breakfast shift at a diner, washed dishes at night, and in between, packed lunches and checked homework with tired eyes and callous hands. He wasn't brave. He wasn't bold. Most days, he doubted if he was even enough. But to Sophie, he was the world, her superhero in second-hand jeans, and though Tyler couldn't always see his own worth, the love in her eyes never let him forget it completely. The alley reeked of rot and rain, its walls stained with old graffiti and fresh neglect. A flickering street light buzzed overhead, casting twitching shadows from the overflowing garbage bins. Just feet away, the nightclub pulsed with chaotic life, neon strobes slicing through fogged windows, bass thumping like a second heartbeat. Yet here, outside, time stood still. The officer lay motionless in the grime, unseen, unheard. The city moved on, indifferent. If Tyler hadn't stopped, she might have disappeared into the dark without a single soul noticing. Tyler's fingers trembled as he pulled out his phone and dialed 911. His voice cracked, barely above the rain. "There's an officer, she's bleeding. Behind Club Indigo. Please hurry." He knelt beside her, trying to shield her from the downpour, but her eyes flickered, urgent, locked onto his. Her lips parted again. "Don't let them find it," she whispered, confused. He looked down. In her blooded palm was a tiny chip, about the size of a coin, tucked into her fingers like it meant everything. Tyler hesitated, then slipped it into his pocket. He didn't know why. He just knew she wanted him to. Minutes later, two officers arrived, too quickly, almost like they were already nearby. One tall and cold-eyed, the other quiet, but watchful. They barely glanced at her. No shock, no urgency, no questions, just stiff protocol. Tyler, still kneeling, said, She gave me something." That's when their expressions changed. "What did she give you?" the tall one asked, too calm. Tyler faltered. "I don't know." The officer stepped closer, voice low. "You didn't see anything?" Got it. Tyler nodded slowly, but his stomach twisted. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Now he had to choose. Hand over the chip and protect his daughter from whatever storm this might bring, or keep a dying woman's secret and risk everything. Tyler sat at the edge of his couch, the tiny chip resting in his trembling palm like a life spark. The apartment was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and the faint ticking of the clock. Sophie's soft breathing drifted from the next room, a reminder of what he stood to lose. His wife's voice echoed in his memory. "Doing right isn't easy, Ty, but it's always right." He swallowed hard, chest tightening. What if those cops find me? What if they hurt her? The fear pressed down until a single, helpless sob escaped him, quiet, raw. "I'm nobody," he thought. "I can't fight this." But sleep wouldn't come. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that woman's fading gaze, pleading for him to do something. At dawn, with trembling hands and a heart full of dread, Tyler slid the chip into an old laptop. The screen flickered, then played grainy but damning footage. Two men stood in a warehouse, exchanging duffel bags under dim light. Tyler leaned forward, His stomach dropped. It was them, the same officers who told him to forget. Then, a shift in the frame. The woman, hidden behind crates, recording. Her badge glinted faintly. She wasn't just a victim. She'd been undercover. He staggered back, bile rising in his throat. Everything made sense now. Her fear, her urgency. They hadn't just abandoned her. They'd hunted her. Frantic, he searched her face online. Officer Maya Torres. Missing 3 days. Beloved. Brave. Tyler knew he couldn't stay silent. He found a contact form for a local journalist, a retired detective known for exposing police corruption. No name, no message, just the file. He hit send. Within hours, headlines erupted. Whistleblower cop leak scandal. Evidence of corruption surfaces. Tyler's chest ached. But for the first time, it wasn't from fear. If you believe truth always finds a way. Share this story. The footage swept across news outlets like wildfire. Social media lit up. People were outraged. Not just at the betrayal of the badge, but at the bravery of someone who dared to speak when silence was safer. Internal affairs moved fast. Within days, the 2 officers were arrested. One tried to run. The other didn't even deny it. But the rot went deeper. Their testimonies pulled down lieutenants, detectives, even a captain, all part of a smuggling ring that had used their power to shield crime. Tyler was summoned for questioning. But this time, he wasn't alone. The journalist stood beside him, voice unwavering. Tyler told the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. At a city press conference, the mayor stood solemnly before cameras. Thanks to one civilian's bravery, we uncovered the rot within. The system failed, but the people did not. For the first time in years, the department wasn't closing ranks. It was opening its eyes. The memorial for Officer Maya Torres was somber, a sea of blue uniforms and bowed heads. Tyler stood at the back with Sophie, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. When the police chief approached, he didn't speak right away. He simply extended a small box. Inside, a medal engraved with the words "For courage in the face of fear." Tyler knelt and placed it in Sophie's hands. "She's the reason I did it," he whispered. Sophie smiled, cradling it like something sacred. Tyler walked home beside Sophie, her fingers wrapped around his. The city lights no longer felt harsh. They shimmered, softer somehow. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a ghost drifting through life. He had done something that mattered. A man once broken, now whole. And as they crossed the quiet street, the night felt warmer. Would you have risked everything like Tyler did? Tell us in the comments, and share this story if you still believe the world needs more quiet heroes like him.